I am here with Jimmy Moore, my favorite guy in the world. I'm just going to say the world, Jimmy.
The world works.
Yes. You know why? Because you have the best podcast, the best personality, the best. You're just like this most like amazing human. You're almost like superhuman, I think.
Oh, thank you.
I just adore you and your wife.
I have never come on. Yeah, Christina's amazing. So I have never come on a show, and the first thing I hear is, "Woo!"
That's because I do things different.
You are quite different. Yes, you are. That's why we love you.
Thank you. So what have you been up to?
Oh, man. Always writing books, always podcasting. And it's so funny because people are like, are you like always living and breathing this? I said, yes, but I do have a life outside of that too. So.
Oh, you do?
Somewhat of a life. Yeah, just a little bit. So yeah, in fact, in January, I'm coming out with a new podcast on Fridays called One More Thing with Jimmy. That's going to let me and Christine kind of share some of the things that are non-diet related in a podcast form. So we're really excited about that to kind of get the word out that, hey, there is more to life than just talking nutrition all the time.
You know what? I love that. Because I have really kind of gotten away with the whole nutrition thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we can talk nutrition all day. We can talk theories all day. But in the end, there's so much more to life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think about all those years I wasted not really caring about my nutrition. And now that I do, it makes me appreciate the non-nutrition things I do in my life even more.
Okay, give me some examples.
Oh my gosh, just spending quality time on the weekends with Christine and just being able to just chill out. We've been making a lot of changes to our property here, so we've been trying to beautify it, and I like getting out there. So like for the fall, I put up a bunch of pumpkins in between each of the little lanterns in our yard, and so it was just fun. We've never done anything like that before, and it's just you appreciate I guess the blessings that you've been given in life and you try to show that to other people. So yeah, it's the little things.
Yeah. Well, you're my keto guy. So every time I talk about keto, I always think about you. So if I'm promoting the ketogenic diet, I'm like, well, you got to follow Jimmy Moore because there's nobody else that I would, talk about because you are the guy. You are the keto guy.
The keto guy with more to his life than just keto. But yes, I do know.
I love that. And I love that. I think that I think a lot of people definitely stray away from that. They just kind of go, well, this is how you should live your life. And, you got to juice, have more vegetables and, fats and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's a mind, body, and spirit approach.
Sure.
Right? That's how you really get what you want out of life.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
So you asked me what else I'm up to. I'm constantly working with people. I've got a new kind of teaching academy that teaches a lot of the principles from my book, Keto Clarity, because some people read the book and they're like, I still don't know what's going on here. So we created that to help educate people kind of on a more personal basis. People write to me literally every day, Nikki, can you counsel me? Can you give me, can you help teach me this a little more? So we created Keto Clarity Academy for that purpose. So we started that a few months back. And then the most exciting thing is something I've been working on for several years, though. And that is blood ketone testing has been so freaking expensive for so long. So people that do a ketogenic diet don't always test because it's been very expensive. And so I push in Keto Clarity to test your blood. And the only way to test your blood traditionally with a meter has been the Precision Extra, now it's called Freestyle Neo meter from Abbott. Well, Abbott is bilking people. Let's just put it that way. out of about $4 to $5 per strip to test. Now, most people, they can't afford that, and they wouldn't afford that. So I said, we should be able to get that price way down from $4 to $5 a strip. And we now have. So I partnered with this guy. We have this company called bestketonetest.com where we sell this little meter right here.
Okay.
And it has both blood sugar and blood ketone strips. And so I can show you how it works if you want to see.
Yeah.
So I just ate not long ago, so I'm not sure what the readings are going to be like for the ketones, but let's throw it in there.
What'd you eat?
Let's see. I had, just kidding. It doesn't hurt. I've done this a million times now, but I like freaking people out. They're like, does that hurt? No, it doesn't hurt. All right, let's see what we got here.
Get some blood on the camera.
Yeah, there's the bloody finger.
Nice.
All right, here it comes. 3, 2, 1. 1.0. So that's not bad. So what you're looking for is anything over 0.5. Usually 0.5 to 3.0 is where most people fall. When you first start on a ketogenic diet, it can tend to be a little bit higher than 3.0 just temporarily while your body's kind of going, okay, what's this new substance that you're giving me to fuel me by? Of course, I've been doing this for years. So 1.0 at this time of day, I ain't complaining.
Okay, so it's midday by you.
It is, yes.
And how many meals have you had?
I just had the one meal, like I said, right out about an hour and a half ago, I ate.
What did you eat?
So I like to mix it up, and one of my favorite go-tos when I'm kind of in the midst of the workday is to get like mozzarella cheese and put some like a sauce on top of that, like a pizza type sauce. It's a organic tomato sauce, and then put pepperonis on there and make like a little pizza on a plate. And so I had that for lunch.
But you're not doing any eggs anymore because you're allergic?
Yeah. So I did a food allergy test recently, and eggs came up pretty hypersensitive. So I'm going to stay off of them for a while just to see if it makes a difference. But, it's one of those things where you have to kind of see and tinker and test. Because I think sometimes we fall into the trap of, oh, well, eggs are keto, so they're good all the time for everybody. And maybe not. So I don't think eggs necessarily are a big problem, but it doesn't hurt to give them up for a while, other than I really want them right now.
Yeah.
And I have 15 chickens in my backyard.
I was going to say, you have all those chickens.
Yeah. Every day I harvest right at about 10 eggs every single day. And I just look at them and go,
I wish. You're lucky. You're very lucky to have that amount of, chickens and that access to such great quality eggs.
Yeah, we really are. And you know what we do with them, since I can't eat them that much and Christine doesn't eat 10 eggs a day, is we actually give them to a family that can't afford to buy good quality food. Because, the thing about this world is it's such a mean, ugly world sometimes. And the best way to counter that is through acts of kindness and love to other people. So we try to share that and do that kind of thing. We've given them vegetables from our garden, and we just try to take care of other people that are less fortunate than we are.
I love that. They live near you?
Yep. They used to be neighbors, and now they live across the way. We kind of consider them family friends. And so, so not too far from us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the meter.
Yeah.
So how much is the meter?
So you caught me flat-footed because I don't have that information right on me, but if they go to bestketonetest.com, I believe the meter is $50, and it is the meter just for the strips that we sell. I showed you on camera the blood ketone testing. We also have blood sugar testing, which they come in little vials of 50. So it looks like this, a little vial of 50. There's the blood glucose ones. Okay. And it's like I said, a vial of 50. And if you got a vial of, you couldn't buy a vial of 50 from Abbott. So if you try to get a Precision Neo or Freestyle Neo Precision Extra from Abbott, you can't buy a vial of 50. You can only buy those 10 strips in the little foil. Anybody that's ever tested with that meter, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So these come in here and that's where a lot of the cost savings happen, is they're all right inside of there. Okay. And so, I just
you're losing them.
So when you don't do the foil, which they had to do the foil for some kind of an FDA regulation way back in the day, but they never got rid of it when that regulation went away. So we eliminate that cost, and by the time you eliminate that and make these a little more affordable, we can get them down to about $1 a strip, which is a whole lot cheaper than $4 to $5 a strip. So bestketonetest.com does have the most affordable blood ketone testing you'll find online.
So for the 50, it's about $50.
It's $50. Yep.
Okay. And then plus the meter. And
then the meter is another, don't quote me on this, it's at bestketonetest.com, but it's another $40 or $50 for the meter. And then that meter is your meter for both the blood sugar and the blood ketones. I want to say the blood sugar testing strips, this file of 50 is something like $20. So really affordable way to both test your blood sugar and blood ketones. And some people might be like, well, why do I need to do either one? Well, I'm not diabetic. I'm not really anything wrong with my health. Well, you know what? You want to know where you stand. And I think far too many people kind of trust their doctor. They go see their doctor, Nikki, and they say, oh, you're fine. You're all within range. Well, guess what? Your range is of sick people. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in the range of sick people. I want to be optimal. So doing these tests at home, and man, oh man, all these little technology. I got an Apple Watch. I mean, you got all this technology that will let you track your own biomarkers now. It'd be silly not to test where you stand in your health as it relates to your blood sugar, your blood ketones. I can't wait for blood insulin someday to be able to test that at home.
Yeah.
There's just so many advancements happening. Empower yourself as a patient. You need to take back control of your own health, and it starts with getting the testing for yourself and doing it for yourself at home.
I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
One, what are the symptoms when you go keto? So symptoms being when you really decrease those carbs and you're really just doing a lot of high fats. Some of the symptoms that I have read about and have experienced is bad breath.
Halitosis? Halitosis.
Woo, Jimmy. No, I was just kidding.
So it's I know, smell-o-vision is coming soon, and she can really smell. So no, halitosis is very temporary. And what it is, it's your body making that shift from sugar burner to fat burner. So when the body is used to burning sugar for fuel, it actually has a certain excretion happening. And so it's not detectable. But when you start switching to fat burning, that is detectable on a temporary basis in that interim when you're trying to make that switch. But here's the thing, it doesn't last for long. That switch takes about 2 to 4 weeks, and that halitosis is gone. So how do you deal with it in the meantime? Well, number one, drink lots of water. And that's really good for you anyway, because when you go keto, you're dumping a lot of water. A lot of the sugar that's in the body, people don't realize this, but a lot of the sugar that's in your body is stored in your muscles. So all through your muscles, all throughout your body, you have this thing called glycogen. So glycogen is the sugar in the body. Well, when the body goes ketogenic and is shifting from sugar burner to fat burner, it's dumping all these sources of sugar. Well, guess what that sugar is all bound up in? It's in water. So if you kind of shake your body a little bit, you got a lot of water in there, and it dumps when you go keto. So you go to the bathroom a lot when you first go keto. So you've got to replenish all of that water that you're losing. You also need to replenish salt. So you're going to lose quite a bit of salt and some of the other electrolyte micronutrients. I'm going to get it in a minute. Electrolyte micronutrients. There it is. Magnesium and potassium. So salt, magnesium, potassium, and water, and that halitosis should no longer halitosis away. Yes. Okay.
The other thing that you might notice, that I have noticed, is that dry mouth and dry stomach. Is that true?
Stomach.
Yeah, dry stomach. Is that on the
external where the stomach is dry?
Not the external.
Internal.
Where it feels that the stomach is dry, that I'm constantly trying to add water to kind of mask. I don't know how to explain it.
That is a new one. I have never heard of dry stomach. You have stumped me today,
Really?
Nikki. You need to submit that to my Keto Talk podcast about dry stomach. I've never heard that before. My first gut reaction would be, you're probably not eating enough fat. because
Oh,
that sensation in the stomach that it's dry. Again, I have no idea why you would be having that.
like my intestines are dry and needing a lot more water, and I'm drinking so much water. I mean, look at
Yeah.
this Yeti right here, right?
Uh-huh.
I drink at least two or three. Whoa!
We have
Jimmy,
Yetis.
that's awesome.
I love
We're
my
Yeti
Yeti.
twins.
Let's
Oh my
drink to
gosh.
it.
Okay.
Mm.
We're Yeti twins. I love it.
Cheers. Yes, I love my
That
Yeti.
was so cool. But I drink several of those a day,
Yeah.
and I still feel like my stomach is super dry.
Is that over the long term, like a long time this has happened, or is it just kind of a temporary thing?
A long time. So
Okay.
every time I
Sounds
go
like you may have something going on beyond like
the
what a
keto,
ketogenic diet. Anyway, submit that question to Keto Talk because I'm interested
I read it
in
on a
digging in further.
blog. Like I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and I read it on a blog that when you're in ketosis, that your stomach could feel dry.
I have never heard that, and I've been keto, as you know, for millions of years.
Yes, you have. Okay, cool. I'm excited. The other question is, how often do you have to test?
Great question. And here's the bottom line. You never have to test.
Okay.
That's it. You never have to test. But what I tell people is if you want to know where you stand, you kind of have to know what the numbers are. So
Yeah.
if you're just starting and you want to see how well am I doing on this, I say, and you can get some of the ketone tests from bestketonetest.com, I would say test in the morning and then test in the evening at least 4 hours after your last meal. So you want to wait that 4 hours so that you let all the food clear, all the blood sugar response clear, and you want an accurate reading. And typically what's going to happen is that morning reading is going to be the lowest reading of the day. And my theory is that the body uses some of those ketones as in part of the repair mechanism in the body. Plus, when you're waking up, you have a cortisol response somewhere around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning that starts to wake you up. So that by the time you wake up, your blood sugar might be a little bit elevated. Some people freak out about that. That's a very natural response.
Okay.
And when you have higher levels of blood sugar, the blood ketones typically will come down in response to that, which is why you'll have a muted response. So you just saw I had a 1.0. Maybe this morning, I didn't test first thing this morning, but maybe this morning I had a 0.6, 0.7.
Okay.
And then let's say I test tonight at least 4 hours after eating as my last meal of the day, and I test and it's a 1.4. Well, guess what? You're going to have about double your ketones in the evening, 4 hours after your last meal, than you did in the morning, first thing when you wake up. So do that for a period of time. And here's the cool thing, Nikki. When you're doing that, you're tracking it, you're tracking what you're eating, you're kind of tracking how you feel. And then at some point you go, oh, well, when I feel like this, I can extrapolate based on the data where I'm writing down everything and I felt that way when I felt this way, or I had this number when I felt this way. And you can extrapolate that you have whatever number.
I
So
see.
before I even tested the 1.0, I was going to guess that I was probably 0.9, 0.8, and it was 1.0.
Right.
So you know after a while. So here's the thing. You get 50 of these bad boys in this one vial. And so you could do 25 days of morning, night, morning, night. And maybe after the 25 days are gone and you're out of strips, you say, hey, let me try it for a period of time just to see if I feel it, like
Right.
Jimmy's talking about. And if you do, you probably never have to test necessarily again. I would keep testing your blood sugar just to kind of see where you stand on that. But blood ketones, you can actually feel it after a while. Now, I'll still peek in every once in a while, like I did today for you on camera, and it just verifies what I already know. So, but it's good to peek in. Knowledge is power. And when you know where you stand, you can make an informed decision about how you're doing in your diet.
I love that. I love that. So you can make adjustments.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. If you see that you're out of ketosis, you're like, whoa, maybe that 16-ounce steak that I had last night wasn't so good for me. And so you
Right.
moderate back on the protein a bit. And, I'm a big believer in people doing their own self-experiments. And so I'm thinking about doing my own experimentation soon, looking at the effect of excess protein on ketone levels and on blood sugar levels and that kind of thing. So,
because protein turns into a sugar.
it can through a big long G word called gluconeogenesis. And so that can be a problem for a lot of people, especially people with insulin resistance, which if you've dealt with morbid obesity at any point in your life, type 2 diabetes, you got insulin resistance. So sorry to break the news to you.
Well, there's a lot of moms that watch the show. And so what
Hi,
if,
Mom.
hi moms.
Actually, my mom went keto. You're going to love this story, Nikki, and not to interrupt you, but I thought you reminded me of my mom going keto. She came to me last Christmas and she's like, son, I want to do your diet. And I was like, hallelujah, about time. And she has this condition called myasthenia gravis that really like mimicked the effects of like a stroke. So the whole one side of her face was all droopy and arm. And it was a weird thing. She got bit by a bug and it caused all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
But she had gastric bypass and lost a bunch of weight, but then gained it all back. Anyway, she was miserable and she said, I need to do something. So she went keto in January. Her A1C was 7.5, which is well into type 2 diabetes range.
Okay.
And she just called me about a month ago and said, my A1C is down to 5.5. I'm off all medications. I'm no longer considered a diabetic. And to me, and she lost a modicum of weight, Nikki, but started to kind of stall. So she was a little bit kind of discouraged. But when she got that news, she realized this is so much more than just about weight loss. Mm-hmm. That health gain is just rocking and rolling for her. And she wasn't able to sleep in her own bed. Now she is. She's able to, she still has to take the steroid medication, which makes the weight loss thing a little more challenging for her, but all of her health gains, it just has made all the difference in the world. So kudos to all the moms out there. If you give this a go, let my mom encourage you.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, sometimes, moms, when they are pregnant, they will get diabetes, gestational diabetes.
That's right.
So do you think that going keto within, the 6 month of being pregnant, do you think that's a wise decision to do for moms, soon to be moms?
Yeah, I actually had an expert on my podcast called the Live and La Vida Low Carb Show. Lily Nichols is her name, and she talks about this very thing that gestational diabetes, the answer is low carb. Mm-hmm. So do they need to go keto? Probably not necessarily all out keto, but definitely lower the carbohydrate content, because at the end of the day, gestational diabetes is basically type 2 diabetes while you're pregnant.
Right.
And here's the problem is a lot of times women that deal with gestational diabetes, they don't get their diet under control while they're going through that. And then it develops into type 2 diabetes once the pregnancy is over. And so that's not good. So to avoid that, you'll really want to cut down on the carbohydrates. So, and eating more healthy fats will actually help with the development of the baby anyway, too. So maybe not all out keto, but lower carb, higher fat probably isn't going to harm anything. Okay.
I had a mom that came to me and she said, well, I'm in my, third trimester, and she feels that she was allergic to gluten. And I had advised her, because that's what my story is that I developed an allergy to gluten during my pregnancy, and that's when I got off of it. And she was actually so fearful of getting rid of gluten during her pregnancy.
So here's the thing: there's no essential gluten in the diet. If she never ate gluten again for the rest of her life. So what was her concern? She just thought there was something in the gluten that made her healthy. I don't get that.
She thought that it would harm her pregnancy if she got off gluten.
Eating a Twinkie might harm your pregnancy more than eating or not eating gluten.
That's what I said too. But
she had gestational diabetes as well?
No.
Oh, she didn't. Okay.
She was a pediatrician though.
I got you. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow is right.
Well, medical professionals, we could spend a whole show just talking about all that they don't know about nutrition. You would hope that doctors and pediatricians and nurses would have adequate nutritional health info, but the thing that I've learned talking to all these kind of professionals over the years is they're lucky if they got a week, maybe 2 weeks of nutrition education, and all that schooling, all the residency, they don't learn about it.
And that's confirmed. That's not conspiracy. That
No,
is
that's
confirmed
true.
by doctors.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every single one I've ever talked to, that's one of my pat questions for them is, how many weeks did you have of nutritional training? Some of the newer ones, they talk about 1 3-hour seminar. I had one medical school student from Duke University, and he's like, oh yeah, I had 1 3-hour seminar. They didn't mention insulin. They didn't mention blood sugar. They didn't mention carbs. In a nutrition talk.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think that we really have to educate ourselves, go with our gut, and learn from Jimmy Moore.
Well,
we want more of Jimmy Moore.
Well, Christine may beg to differ, but so that's my wife.
No way.
That doesn't know. So yeah, I think learn and constantly educate yourself is going to be a great thing regardless. And I often tell people, if you hear something from me or anyone else, go look it up yourself. Go verify it. What's that whole thing? Trust but verify. Trust what you hear, but don't buy into it face value. I think that's how we got into fearing fat so much, was we were told it was bad for us. So we just believed it hook, line, and sinker. And we were told to eat more healthy whole grains, and we bought into it because people in powerful positions in nutrition were saying it's a good thing. And now we know it's not such a good thing. So trust but verify always.
Yeah. Trust but verify. I love it. You are the king. You are the man. Thank you for being so amazing and being a life changer. I know that you have so much to offer to this world, and you are doing it. You are a doer. You're a giver. And I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Can I hire you to introduce me every time I go? I'm just kidding.
Yes, you can. By the way.
She said, I'm available.
Always. Jimmy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki.
All right. We'll see you later.
We dance.